right, Mr. Raines, I'm Judge O'Brien. I'm going to read you your rights, and then I'm going to talk to you about the charges that are placed on you. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right and obligation to be present at your trial. If you fail to show up for your trial, they'll place failure to appear charges against you, and you could face an additional 1 to 5 years in jail. You have the right to a trial by jury. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be provided for you through the public defender's office. If the charges that are placed on you are discharged or dismissed, not prosecuted, or if you're found not guilty, you have the right to have your record expunged or wiped clean from these charges. Now, you are being charged with a criminal offense, and if you were found guilty, you are facing serious consequences, which may include the payment of a fine, the loss of your driver's license, and the possibility of a jail sentence. In addition, you may face increased penalties for later convictions, the loss of your right to possess firearms or ammunition, and your immigration status could be affected. You have important constitutional rights, including the right to representation by an attorney, but you may lose those rights or waive them if you do not act to protect those rights. You have the right to hire an attorney to represent you in every case. If you cannot afford an attorney, you may be eligible for a free attorney. If you want a determination made as to whether you are qualified for a free lawyer, then it is your obligation to be screened at the location identified in paragraph 5C of the bond checklist form that I'm going to give you tonight. If you do not hire an attorney or go to be screened, then you may be found to have waived your right to an attorney at your trial. You also have the right to represent yourself. However, you should be aware that self-representation can be dangerous. For example, there may be certain factual or legal defenses to your charge that you are not aware of, or legal issues related to the conduct of your trial or guilty plea that an attorney would know how to preserve for an appeal. If you exercise your right to proceed without a lawyer, then you are responsible for complying with all applicable rules of court, including rules of evidence, procedural rules, and proper behavior before the judge and jury. If convicted on the charges filed against you and ordered to pay a fine, you may request a reasonable scheduled payment plan to pay that fine. It is your obligation to keep up with your trial date and to obtain an attorney, either by hiring one or by being screened and found eligible for a court-appointed attorney prior to your trial date. If you do not appear at your trial with your attorney, you may be deemed to have waived your right to have an attorney represent you. And finally, you are required to keep the court notified of any changes of your address until the completion of your case. Do you understand so far? All right, Mr. Raines, you're being charged with 2 counts of murder, 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, 1 count of conspiracy, and 1 count of possession with intent to distribute marijuana. All 5 of these charges are general sessions charges, which means you have an additional right. You have the right of a preliminary hearing. The preliminary hearing is an evidence hearing where the state has to show that they have the evidence to take you to court. If you want that hearing, take the form I'm going to give you and fill it out. You can mail it or take it to the address on the form, or you can fill it out today and give it back to me. But you only have a total of 10 days to get that form turned in. Otherwise, you lose your right to that hearing. Now, it's my understanding that you said that you would be the spokesperson for the Burroughs family. Is that correct? All right, sir. If you will come up to that microphone right up in front of you, do me one favor. If you'll talk as loud as you can so we can hear you well with that microphone, okay? Go ahead.
As I speak, I stand here for my family.
All right, do me a favor. Pull your mask down because, like I said, it's just kind of hard to hear.
As I speak, I stand here for my family and my brother. My brother was the nicest and coolest person you could ever come across. He would never cause harm to anybody. He would give you the shirt off his back. We know your statements weren't true. For the simple fact, we know the person Monty Burroughs was and still is. You only have a relationship relationship, and that was selling weed. You already had it planned out what your intentions were. You have no idea of the hurt and the pain you have caused to not only my family, but also the family of Andrew. If my brother knew what you was planning to do, he would never have followed up with you. January the 12th. Happy birthday, bro. Love you. Hope you enjoy having birthday. This was the last time I got to see my brother. His last words to me were, I love you, bro. You have no clue how much pain and sadness you have caused my mother. You have no clue what his daughter has to grow up with. Not seeing or just having that one-on-one time with Dad. Or did you know he had a daughter? Or hell, did it even matter? You didn't even care at least. Not only did you take a son, you took a father, a brother, an uncle, a friend, a best friend, a companion. You took out a big part of our hearts and lives, all because you wanted to be judge, jury, and executioner. My brother was loved by so many people, and your careless act took that all away. Now the only thing we are left to do, look forward to is memories. No more birthdays together, Christmas, Thanksgiving, or just being around each other. Just as I stand here with the shirt, a picture of my brother, in which your family still can do those things. Forgiveness, I can't, because you didn't give him the chance. You get to open your eyes to see another day. You ended that for my brother on January the 13th, 2021. While you still have breath in your body, I suggest you get down on your knees every night and pray. God have mercy on your soul. I would ask there be no bond, being that my brother cannot have a bond.
Okay. And just confirming, there is no family for the Ray family here, is that correct? All right. All right, Mr. Raines, 3 of the 5 charges are automatically a no bond anyway. Because of the nature of the charges, I'm going to no bond you on all 5 charges, and I'm going to send you to the circuit court for a bond hearing. Your next court date will be sometime in the next 30 days. I can't tell you if it would be 3 days from now or 30 days from now. That'll have to be scheduled by the solicitor's office. But at that point in time, it'll be up to the circuit court judge to make a determination as to whether to grant you a bond or to keep you in jail until your court date. Do you have any questions I can answer for you? All right, if you will please come down to that window. My clerk will have some papers for you. folks, do you have any questions